Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of the Final Fantasy Legend 2. We last left off, we had just defeated Odin. Before he died of natural causes, he wanted to fight with the greatest warriors who ever lived, so he forced us to fight him and we gave him his final wish. Which means now that we cannot revive if we get defeated in battle. Well, we have to start all over from our last save, so I just showed off a little trick there. After you defeat Odin, you can just use the Pegasus Magi right away, and it'll warp you to the other side of Valhalla Palace. You'll get to skip the little walkway there and these two little screens of winding stairways down. You can get into encounters here, so using that little trick there can, you know, save you some time. Speedrunners use it to avoid, you know, getting into an encounter and saving a lot of steps. So those saving all those steps shaves a lot of seconds off of a run, and when you're going for a record, obviously the most time you can save, the better. So the better your chance of obviously getting that record. So we're going to use the Pegasus Magi to warp back to where we were earlier outside Valhalla Palace. But we have a little bit of business to take care of outside the nasty dungeon first. P turned into a Garuda by eating the meat of Sleipnir, Odin's horse. We want to turn him into the top tier crab though, the top tier crab that you can fight as an enemy. And in order to do that, P is going to have to eat the meat of a fire moth. Now, fire moths can be encountered in Valhalla Palace, but they're kind of rare. However, they're a common encounter right outside the nasty dungeon. So, warping here, we'll should be able to get into a bunch of fights with these fire moths, and hopefully they are nice and drop some meat, so P can turn into the king crab. Now, it's the strongest crab-based monster that you can fight as an enemy. There are one tier of stronger enemies that are only available to player character monsters. You can only get 2 of them in the game though, and you get them from eating the meat of special mini-bosses while making your way down to the final area in the game. Now the DS remake, they fixed that because there's a new area added, the one that's added after you defeat the nasty dungeon. It's a special arena, basically, where you can fight ultra-tough monsters to gain equipment. Well, those monsters can drop meat that can turn your player monster, into its top tier. So in that remake, you can actually get 4 highest tier monsters, where in this game, you're stuck with 2. So, and in that case, in P's case, it'll be the Dagon crab. Regular monsters can also get a little bit tougher in that game, character monsters, because one of the things is when you change monsters, there's a chance that you can gain an ability from the previous monster that you were. So, for instance, the Garuda right here has a tornado attack. When it turns into a king crab, it might inherit that tornado attack, so you'll have a crab that can cast tornado, so. But not here, so. Now I'm thinking here maybe just showing off what the Masmium does, but I'll show that off later. We'll eventually be able to do that, but so we'll keep the Aegis Shield up because the next mini boss we encounter, the Aegis Shield will effectively almost shut it down. It'll shut down 80% of its offensive abilities. So let's use our Pegasus Magi to warp back to Valhalla Palace here. And we're going to head toward the next world. We're going to rearrange our inventory a little bit here. We'll give Linus the Rune Axe. He can use that to work on his mana. He can use that because we didn't artificially inflate his strength, the stat that determines the damage of the Rune Axe, through the trash can glitch, so that's why Vincent hasn't used the Rune Axe. Honey Mouse can use the final 2 uses of the Karate here to clear out that inventory space, but still get the agility bonus. And Vincent, I guess, can work on get rid of that wizard staff. We want to have as many open inventory slots on our characters and in our item screen, because the next world, very similar to the Nasty Dungeon, is basically going to be one large dungeon. It's actually bigger than the Nasty Dungeon in that it has 10 floors instead of 8, but the floors are smaller, so it's not going to take 4 episodes to get through that Nasty Dungeon. So, Sun Sword here that Honey Mouse is going to try to use on the Wraith here, that can critically hit undead monsters like the ghosts or zombies. So, but Pete finished the Wraith off before Honey Mouse had a chance to potentially crit it. So we're just gonna, like I said, try to empty our inventory as much as possible so that we can use up get as much treasure as possible. We won't have to potentially drop any treasure. So pass this cat claw down to Vincent, because he used up his wizard staff. You don't have too many items there. We'll finally be able to put the Hakate boots on our next guest party character, so, and one of the flare books, so that'll clear up 2 inventory spaces. So let's head to the last world. Not too many new monsters in the last world because we did the entire Nasty Dungeon. The monsters are mainly going to be the same ones we encountered on floors 6, 7, and 8 of the Nasty Dungeon. However, as soon as we went into here, surprisingly, we encountered, I believe, the only monster that we haven't encountered that wasn't available in the Nasty Dungeon, the Nymph Monster. It's the fairy monster over there on the left. It has an annoying attack wall there. The wall attack it bypasses barriers like the Aegis Shield, so... one weakness of the fairy monsters, if you're using them in your party, is while they're good for random encounters because they have really high mana and really good spells, against bosses sometimes they stall out because a lot of times bosses have immunity to elements that the fairy class monsters tend to use. But the nymph here has an ability that can bypass resistances because nothing can resist wall or like attacks like tornadoes, so that's pretty neat. So now, if you're one of the people, maybe you're playing the game for the first time, you might have been getting in the habit of, using the Prism Magi every time you enter a new world to see how many Magi you're going to have to look for. Well, we have 76 Magi right now. If we use the Prism Magi, we're going to notice something that's pretty neat here. It says there's 2 Magi in this world, but we were always told that 77 make up the statue of the goddess Isis. That would put the total Magi to 78. Mistake in the game? Or were Dad and the Guardians lying about the amount of Magi total in the world? Well, it might be a mistake because we already saw that this game has had some coding errors. I'm thinking right off the hand. The Ice Magi gives protection from Thunder, and the Thunder Magi gives protection from Ice, so they kind of switched their values up. So, did the programmers make another error? Well, we'll find out very soon. So, now before we head up here toward the other Celestial Pillar, we want to make a save because we got a little mini boss coming up here, and this is the one that we can effectively nerf with the Aegis Shield. Welcome, I was waiting for you for so long. It's our friend Apollo waiting. Yes, I know you now have 76 Magi, and I have the 77th one right in my hands. Either you or I will get it all. So he's not a friend. You changed your mind? Well, I don't care. I'm not going to let you take them. Very well, come my man, and he summons these 2 bird minions, but luckily we only have to fight 1, so... He has slightly more hit points than Odin. He has 1,300 more hit points than Odin to be precise, but he's not as difficult because he takes more damage, and we can effectively shut down 80% of his offense with the Aegis Shield. Flame, Gas, Blizzard, and Lightning are all... Yeah, that's how they actually shorten it too. They missed the second I. They missed an IN in Lightning, but they're elemental attacks, so they will be blocked by the Aegis. The only way he can hurt us is through the tornado spell. So Yep, we've effectively cut out 80% of his offense. Now with that, we've defeated the minion and got some stats. And that forces Apollo to pull out his trump card. Well, I see you're strong. Let me show you something. It's our friends from throughout the game. What will you do now? Taro, Hannah, Anthony, Flora. Oh, you meant to do this from the beginning. Apollo took 76 Magi gathered. How would you like to live as servants of Apollo, the only god? Wait, you can't use those Magi. It'll ruin the whole world. Ha ha ha. The rumor that the Guardians made up. Silly. I will become a real god with these Magi. I'll make my own world. And then we have Key and Lynn there. No, it's all over. Oh, Linus, we're sorry. We couldn't do anything. We can only wish the world to outlive. Don't lose hope. Who's that? Hey, it's Dad. Dad? Dad! Oh, you're alive. Of course. Don't give it up yet, Linus. We still haven't found the last Magi. But then we'll make it 78 altogether. It isn't true that 77 Magi make the statue of the goddess Isis. Apollo's missing one. We said there were 77 to protect them from abuses. Where's the last one? It's in the final dungeon. And Dad joins us. And we're going to give him the Hakate boots to boost his mana by 15. So it's now no longer his lowest stat. And also give him a flare book for dealing with bosses. Dad has a similar updated loadout from when we first got him. It's a defense sword, replaces its gold sword. We'll use that when we fight single tough enemies. The Volcan replaces the submachine gun. We'll use that against to weaken up large groups of monsters. And then rather than a whip, he has a magnum. So deals less damage than his defense sword, but and it doesn't have the property of the whip that it can stun enemies, but it does have the property, unlike the whip or the sword, that it can pass through shields. So you have a enemy using the shield, the magnum will pass right through it. So he also comes with a cure book, and like he did when we first got him, and now a heal rod, which heals everybody. So heal cure book for the entire party. So we can go to places with the Pegasus Magi. It functions the same as the door item. We just heard about the door item now because we're only able to buy door items now in this world. Door basically is a Pegasus Magi. You get 3 uses out of it, and so you don't get stuck because you don't have Magi to warp around anymore or get through pillars. Nobody came back alive from the final dungeon. Every item shop in every world now will have that little crow merchant selling doors, so you can't soft lock the game. The final boss is strong against paralysis, sleep, poison, even the magic of death. However, he's not strong against the magic of stone, so if you have a monster with a stone ability, you can just turn him into stone. The final dungeon is awfully long. It's best to take tents with you. They work the same as the inn. And we can get to the central shrine from the pillar in this world. That's what that rock told us. So let's heal ourselves up here at the inn. And we can check out the weapon shop. Not that we're going to want to buy any weapons here. The only thing you probably want to maybe potentially buy is more flare books. But we'll probably pick one up in the final dungeon. Yeah, we don't want to... We already have enough weapons as is. And we're going to get more weapons and treasure in the final dungeon. So, like I said, we wanted to have as much inventory space as possible. So... And there I am, just breaking my old rule. Well, Vincent's running low on some stuff, so let's give him some judo. That way you can keep working on his agility, and maybe get a little bit more extra stats there for Honey Mouse. So we'll find another karate item shortly in the final dungeon. So, and that judo might have been kind of pointless to buy, but hey. We'll eventually be able to boost up Honey Mouse's stats a little bit more, so... Let's buy a tent. So, any other tents we need, we'll find in the final dungeon. So, like I said, it's 10 floors, but they're shorter than the nasty dungeon floors, so... Not much to explore. The last Magi is guarded by an awfully strong monster. Yeah, we were told he has all those resistances, so... But... Like I said, if you're running a speedrunners tend to deal with him by using the stone spell, because like I said, he is not immune to stone. No. He is immune to the hyper cannon though, because he's a boss monster, but let's see if we can get the hyper cannon off and show what it does. Well, so it like shoots these like protons at all the enemies and they all just disappear. Woohoo! So, yeah, see all these enemies? We encountered them earlier, like I said, in the nasty dungeons, floors 6, 7, and 8, so we're much stronger. We can deal with it. We were able to deal with them back then. We're much stronger because we have better equipment. And we also have a 5th party member here now, so yeah, this shouldn't be that much of a problem at all. So, we got a stronger P monster though too. He's a stronger crab than what he was. Woohoo! Well, still getting a big high encounter rate, so we got a large group of dragons here, 5. So this is where we might want to put that Volcan into use. So, see, it's basically like a strong submachine gun, but you can see it doesn't deal as much damage as the tank weapon. So if you have the choice between the tank and the Volcannon, you know, you want to go with the tank. It's a little bit more expensive, but you get that built-in shield and extra damage, so. Although I guess the Volcan is cheaper in the sense that it has more uses, so. Tank comes with 20 uses, Volcan has 30, so. Yeah. But guns, if you've been building your stats, are kind of pale in comparison to weapons, so. See you, dragons. We don't want any of me. Linus got some mana. Woohoo! Yeah, I want to be working on Linus's mana stat because I want to make him gain some good mana so that he can effectively function as a healer as well as Vincent against like the final bosses and stuff in the game. So it's always good to have 2 healers. So a lot of times you can like say if you run it with a fairy monster, they have that. They always have a healing ability with them, and there's a few other monsters that have healing. So if you're having a multi-monster party, you might build up one of your monsters to be a healer. But crab monsters never have healing abilities, so yeah, P will never be a healer. So we got to make a backup healer, and our backup healer in this instance will, of course, be Linus. Probably could have finished these crabs off with P's Thunder, but let's try to get some stats. So, woof. This would be nice if we would have had that. Still had that old Aegis shield. So, but yeah, all our Magi is gone, so we don't have any of the boosts that we get from equipping the Magi or benefits such as maybe strength, like resistances to spells. So, but nope. But we got Dad. Dad will help us out. He used that heal staff there. We got an idea of what it does. It heals everybody. Basically casts cure on everybody in the party. So yeah, we're dragging this fight out a little bit here. We could have, like I said, taken out this ice crab a long time ago. So, but maybe P don't want to attack other crabs. Well, that's not true because he just defeated one of his claws. So yeah, I'm just kind of extending these battles a little bit to hopefully gain some extra stats. So, but alright, we're gonna head over to the left here. Got a treasure room over here. Well, this is kind of creepy. It kind of looks like another sun sword. We can give that to Honey Mouse to replace the dragon sword. Get a little bit more strength. 6 extra points actually. So, woohoo! Then we can dump that dragon sword or sell it. Depends on how our inventory looks. Yeah, the walls in this place they look kind of plant-like, but they also look like they have like faces in between them there and the little twists. So kind of creepy. Ugh. Maybe it's like a living plant dungeon. So, if it was, it would be interesting if they had just made all the enemies like plant-based monsters. But I guess that's beyond the game where the Game Boy's, properties or beyond its limitations. So we'll just encounter these similar groups to, like I said, what we already encountered in the nasty dungeon. So, oh, ow, that hurt. P is strong against stone. Yeah, that's an innate ability that the crab has. The dragon helmet also gives protection from stone, and the Arthur armor. So, here's another group that we've run into a lot of outside. So, you might use your magic against the falcons there, because falcons do have a shield ability, so they can block your melee attacks. There it is, defending with defense. So, but magic always cuts through, because it only blocks melee attacks. And robots tend to take a lot of extra damage from magic attacks, because robots can't gain a mana stat, and the mana stat kind of functions as your magic defense. So, yeah, robot enemies and your own robots, for that matter, tend to take more damage from magic, which is why it was always important that we put some Magi to protect Honey Mouse there from spells. But, well, that's part of the final dungeon. Let's go through more of it in our next episode. Take care, have a good day. Bye.